Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, the unique and rare handbags. My name is Joe. I'm a bag collector and Hermes bag authenticator. Today from my collection, I chose this one to talk about. Why? Because last time I talked about how to convert the caddy long wallet to caddy to go, and then I mentioned Hermes discontinued the caddy wallet, and now they are pushing the to go for the three reasons I mentioned. First, it's because, well, nowadays it makes more sense to have a bag than a wallet of this size. Second, it's just much more expensive for almost the same design, the same amount of work to sell a bag under a bag instead of under a wallet. And third is this small mini bag trend, right? So the same thing happened, I mentioned, to the Constance series, the Constance long wallet, the one in front of us here. They have been discontinued. Instead, they have the Constance to go, which is selling for I remember it's 6,800.
你需要先解锁
Oh.
iPad.
Okay, I don't know why my iPad is acting up. Well, so yeah, they're selling for 6,800 or something like that for the normal leather one. Of course, the one in front of us here is a alligator one. As you can see, shiny alligator blue. It's actually very easy, as I mentioned, to distinguish the alligator, to differentiate the alligator from the crocodiles. The alligators on the scales, they don't have the pore. The two crocodiles, crocodile porosus, crocodile niloticus, they both have pores. So alligator is actually basically not their very close relatives. Oh wow, I tend to think that way. Well, so the alligators, they are mostly from America, Mississippi. For example, when I was in New Orleans, they do have this alligator farm tours that I didn't go because I love the bags made from them, but I don't really enjoy seeing them alive. Well, anyway, so I think in my last video I also mentioned for alligator very often they would actually put the navel of the alligator at a very prominent place, because actually all this nice part of the skin with the regular patterns and everything, they are from their tummy part, right? Their abdomen part. And then the navels, they have a very distinguished something a little bit like this here, but much longer. It's about like 5 to 10 centimeters long and maybe 1 or 2 centimeters wide. Something looks like this. And some American brand, especially like Ralph Lauren, they love putting that thing right in the middle of a bag. So to put it at the most prominent space of a bag to show you the unique pattern of it. But Hermes obviously made a very different choice, especially for small luxury goods. We can imagine this is not a full, oh, maybe it is actually alligator's lens, but I don't know. Well, anyway, they didn't make that aesthetic choice, so you don't see the navel parts. But it's still very easy to see it's alligator, not crocodile or anything. So sometimes also it's nowadays there are a lot of imprints, right? So a way to see the imprints is actually on the scale. The real alligator or crocodile, the scales, they are very, it's a hardened part. It's like almost like calcious part. So it doesn't have any like veins or whatever on it. But for a normal leather one or the pattern imprints, very often you could see some like wrinkles or something like this, a little bit like this, but this is very rare. You can see it's very superficial. But for the imprint ones, it tend to be very obvious. But nowadays it is so, it's getting so hard actually to see which one is imprints, which one is actually a real one. You have to rely on the CDES, which is a document that you get to show the origin of the this species, the animals used. So something else, this is a shiny one, as I mentioned. For Hermes, the shiny crocodiles, they are actually buffed. They're not with like a layer of plastic or whatever as people imagine to create this shiny feeling. It's actually buffed with agate stone to achieve this shyness. That is also why with time the shyness would actually faint a little bit. It would become a bit more like less glossy but more matte. The matte one is also actually puffed with felt. Which felt is that? I don't remember anyone. Well, anyway, it's with a felt. So with time, actually, the matte one could maybe become a bit glossier, but you can still see which one was made glossy, which one was made as matte. But the glossy one, the shiny one, becoming matter is more obvious. So with time, yeah. So basically, it's I think a lot of people know about this one. It's a wallet, so with very standard inside. Please note that this zipper here, it doesn't have that as in the caddy wallet. It doesn't have that small padlock shaped one, because the padlock is to remind the closure of the caddy closure. So this one is the Constance closure with an H, how we call it, that's what we call the Constance closure, which is also used for Constance belt, for the H belt, whatever. Well, it doesn't have that. So it just had this, and then it has compartments. This was, as I mentioned, in the old days, a wallet like this would be useful because you put changes and cash here, you put the checkbook here. Actually, the 19.5 length is designed to host that. And then it has a compartment here, and here you have the year stamp. It's A. A is 2017. Yeah, so this one was bought 8 years ago, and at that time it was still there. And then the sale price for this one would be over, if I remember well, it was well over 10,000 euros for this model, for crocodile, of course. And the normal ones would like normal leather one would be less than 3,000 something, if I remember well. And so it's still the same factor of 3.5 to 4 between the normal leather and the crocodile, and between the normal leather and the ostrich is 1.5 to 2, and between normal leather and the lizard is 2.5 to 3. So 1.5 to 2, 2.5 to 3, 3.5 to 4 for ostrich, lizard, and a crocodile. But there's a range because the lizard, there are 2 kinds, right? And then the crocodile and alligator, there are 3 kinds used by Hermes. I'm talking about Hermes. This is price factors of Hermes. So the to-go one would be having a small belt ring here in leather, and then which allows the belt to go through. And here you have a small metallic studs to fix the belt. Yeah. So the to-go one is the current one setting, which is setting for 6,800 or 5,800. I don't remember. I was proposed one in Europe this time, but I didn't get it because I have so many of these already, and basically they are the same thing. So I didn't get the other one. So by that logic, you have to imagine if this still exists, this in the to-go in crocodile skin would be over 20,000 nowadays, which is crazy, which is like huge. Well, so this one is discontinued. What is kept nowadays is I think what they call the compact, so which is like basically this size. The compact is like 13 maybe centimeters wide, something like this. Yeah, and then it has also a slim model, which is not a wallet, doesn't have all those things inside, and it doesn't have this pocket here. It has a small piece of leather going like horizontal, vertically like this, which allow you to slide it through a belt. So it goes onto the belt. It's called slim, and it's pretty slim. It's really like one something centimeters deep. So yeah, And this is the wallet itself. As I mentioned, that there are different ways of converting it into a shoulder belt, shoulder bag. Oh yeah, last time I mentioned this. I remember I had a conversion, like DIY conversion in a hotel. I basically put this here, so and then make a band on a ribbon go through, and then fix this with this hole to this part. So basically the ribbon goes through this and then goes through this hole here, and then so it can be fixed onto the bed instead of so basically it's something like this. I have to, well, yeah, something like this. So it's fixed on it, right, with a ribbon. And I forgot to mention, actually, inside of this, I also put the coffee, to stir the coffee to reinforce a little bit this straw, so it doesn't bend, so it can give like a support to the leather here. I did this because the other ways of conversion would put some tension on this edge and to make this whole thing like curve a little bit. That's the reason. But for this one, I actually have been using it quite a lot, just with a ribbon like this. Again, this is the Air France business class meal. Well, the ribbon which wrapped around the folks and the napkin. So what I do is here, I just put it through here, and it comes out here, as you can see. So it goes through here, and then basically make a knot just here on the top. I really don't mind having this this knot here on top, because I sometimes would slide also things onto it. For example, my umbrella, I would actually just slide my umbrella here, or my sunglasses case, things like that. So it's just a wearable wallet, as Louis Vuitton promoted it. I think I also made a video in the old days about the wearable wallet called Gaston for Louis Vuitton. If you don't remember, you can go have a look. So basically, this is how I convert my Caddy wallet and Constance wallet. So basically, just like this, and you can see it goes nicely like this. So yeah, but I would only use it when I absolutely need my hands for something else, because most of the time I do enjoy carry a clutch. That's why I have so many clutches. I just feel it's in a formal like dinner or cocktail, it is much better to have a clutch instead of having a like a handbag or whatever, because that looks very like you didn't put your things into a clock check kind of situation. Well, at least in Europe, that's how we see it. Things might be very different at other places, and I do not discriminate at all. So use whatever you want to use, and this is just how I use my long wallets, my clutches. Well, so, oh yes, and also as I mentioned, you can also use like a waistband or something to hook it here, so it would become like something like this here. I do have it with me. Let me get it quickly just to show you. I'm talking about something like this. So you can very easily hook it here. Oh, this one I can't, because this one is actually very well, yeah, something like this. So basically it becomes like this. So I would carry it around just like this. So yeah, it's very easy to convert these things, right? You just have to be creative. Yeah, thank you very much for being with me, and see you next time.